How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth a buy or maybe a pass. My name's Corey. I just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who can talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, all right? Let's get into the video. Today I want to talk about PROG. As you guys may or may not know, I do have a long position on this stock. I do believe in what is going on, especially looking at the numbers, the technical numbers for what is going on. This stock is primed, in my opinion, for a short squeeze. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is my own personal opinion, no financial advice. So something did happen more recently that I noticed a lot of people talking about, and I wanted to take a look and see like what in tarnation is going on. So if you take a look over here, you can see Friday's changes, and we can see there was a borrow change of about 11 million shares. And now this is pretty crazy because there are about 13 million shares on loan. And if this would have been covered, the stock currently trading around, we'll call it $3.5, $3.5. If that would have happened, I mean, I personally, based on the jumps that we've seen whenever they just cover a few shares, even this one, the price went up as they borrowed more shares. I mean, but if they do cover a few shares, typically we see a crazy price jump of, 50% or 100% or whatever we see. And for this stock to have actually a down day whenever they covered whenever they allegedly covered 1/3 of the shares, it kind of doesn't really make much sense to me. So I wanted to talk about it. And I'm not here to shill anybody. I'm not here to make anybody, make bad financial decisions. I just want to bring it to people's attention just in case they're curious, just like I'm curious, spoiler alert, I don't have a definitive answer, but I have some thoughts as to what is going on. Okay. So before we get into like the actual, DD of it, I do want to talk about a few things going on in Ortex. Take a look at this utilization. Now, of course, today is Saturday when I'm recording this video. And so we'll have to wait to see what happened. This was on a Friday, and we'll have to see what happens, right? Because it's very, very, very interesting to see these kinds of numbers. But take a look at the utilization. It's at 100%. I mean, it's been at 99% plus. What was the low down here? Yep, still 99%. So since October 20th, so over 10 days, it has been about 15 days actually now. It's been over, 99%. I mean, even down here, the lows, we can say it's been above 90%. Oh, geez, since September 21st, right? So over a month, it's been over 90%, which is plenty high for it to have a move. And it has been having moves since that time. So even then, even after it has its huge move, it's still back up. The stock is heavily, heavily, heavily shorted. With some crazy things going on, right? Let's take a look at the free float on loan. So the free float on loan is currently 52.67%, which is extremely, extremely high. This stock, I mean, a lot of people look at the volume. The volume's really picked up in the stock. There's a lot of, very crazy things going on in here. And it all looks so good. And if they cover a little bit, typically we see huge runs, right? Something else I noticed is, other than this cup and handle that you see, cup, and then this is a little handle right here. Something I noticed is the volume has been crazy. These are the 1-day candles. And let's take a look at back here, right? Whenever it had a plus 18% day, the volume was 253 million, almost 254 million traded in that day, right? And keep in mind, the float for this stock is 129 million, right? So is that almost more than double? Math is hard, but this is almost double or whatever it is that happened. 130 times 260, so almost double of what happened, right? Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't. Yeah, 160 times 2 is 320. Yeah, so almost double. So anyways, a lot of thing going on, right? Oh my gosh, the math has really embarrassed me. So anyways, we see a lot of this crazy volume that is being traded right now. And, I don't know. I think it's significant. This one over here is 352 million in volume on October 18th, right? So there's some serious numbers going on. There's a lot of people in the stock trading this stock. And, it's very interesting. This is obviously extremely heavily shorted stock. There's no reason, and I don't want to just say things, but it's very possible that this is one of those positions and plays that, the stock is heavily shorted. There may be some kind of naked shorting, illegal practices going on here. So just keep that in mind. So let's go back over here and let's take a look at a few things. Realistically, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I went on the subreddit. I was like, what are the apes saying? There are people with more wrinkles than me in my brain, and I'm curious what people are saying. So we can see here, the amount of shares that were returned today, which is exactly what we're looking at. And one person says the Ortex data is unreliable. They said if you look at Fintel or iBorrowDesk, that there's 95K shares to short. Now, we'll see if this is updates. And again, realistically, me personally, before I make any kind of decision, before I do anything drastic, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens, see which way the wind blows. I really don't think this play is going anywhere personally, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So that's what this person says. They say this is a good sign, but I'm not sure if I agree with this comment, and I'll tell you why. They said this is a good sign. A squeeze can't start until someone starts to cover. What's interesting to me, and this is why this is throwing me off so much, is because let's say they covered these shares, right? They returned them, they covered them. And I personally strongly believe that if they would have covered this many shares, 1/3 of the shares on loan, that this stock would have double digits, right? It would have gone straight to double digits. And we would have seen a huge day, ridiculous day. And so that's what I think would have happened there. So I'm not sure if I agree with that one. Yeah, see, this person says 34% decrease would have mean we would have seen at least $20. And so, yeah, it really just doesn't make much sense. This is another thing that we've seen before, right? So this comment right here is saying, if short sellers are facing a squeeze because the shares are hard to buy or scrutiny for holding an illegal short position, they can create the appearance of having closed their short position through deceptive options trades. And this is something we've seen with the deep in the money calls. I had a person on the channel that we went over the DD for that, where they could be trading deep in the money calls to make it look like they've covered, and return the shares, but they actually are just playing a manipulative game. So that's it for this one. This one's actually pretty interesting because they actually compared it to AMC. Of course, people are going to compare things to AMC and GameStop, but just some pretty interesting things that were covered. So basically, they talk about AMC had a plus 14% day, similar to what Proginity had, and then the next day or the same day or something that we saw that they returned about 5 million shares, right, which would have been pretty significant at the time. And people were skeptical about what's going on, but Ortex responded, and they've been pretty good at responding to some of these things. And they said to short a stock, you have to borrow it, then sell it. To return it, you have to buy the stock back, wait for it to settle before returning it to the lender. The shares returned today have not been bought today, right? So theoretically, I think it's possible that people would have borrowed the shares but not shorted the stock with the shares, and they're just giving them back. So this could mean a few different things, and if anybody has an opinion, I'd love to hear it. But this could mean that they have returned the shares, they never used them to short it, so they did not cover, which is why the stock didn't go up, right? Now, if this is the case, I'm not sure what happened to this utilization. In my opinion, the utilization may go down, and that utilization going down, well, I guess it depends on where those stocks go. If those stocks are available to be borrowed again and then used for shorting, then the utilization would go down. But if those shares have just been returned, and they're not going to lend out any additional shares to be shorted or anything, then the utilization could stay high. So I just want to give you all these different scenarios. Obviously, I'm going to be very anxious to see what happens with these numbers. I'm going to be looking, of course, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and seeing what we have in, seeing if there are any changes, because at the very latest, I believe by Tuesday morning, which would be T+2, that we would see these kind of updated numbers. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So just little comparisons here. Some bullish news for PROG. So Jill Howe was just added to the company's board of directors. And, of course, the apes are all over, and they're like, okay, well, who is this girl? And they found that she's worked for multiple companies, and and some of these companies have had buyouts, big buyouts, right? Acquisitions. And that's something that would really pay out the apes, whether you have calls, whether you have shares. If you're in the stock and there's a merger or buyout, typically you get paid pretty handsomely. So we can see here, a company that was acquired for 7.2 billion, another therapeutics company that was acquired, for 25 million. And so, this person's long with shares and stuff, but something interesting I saw here was this person says, I like all of this, trying to figure out a good price point. And they said, depending on how much you think their patents are worth, yada, yada, yada. I think that conservatively, this is a complete guesstimate, but I have a reason for this. But this person says conservatively $3 billion, which would be about $18 share price. $18 a share would not be too bad. Another person in here says, from all the companies bought out in 2020, their average stock price multiple was 14x upon buyout. Might be a little lower for biotech companies, but still pretty exciting. And this person seems to have been following biotech. Been following other companies, but 14x. I mean, heck, if it was 5x, 10x, still like a ridiculous amount of money, which is pretty good. Another thing I did want to point out, not to show anybody, but just for transparency, this person says, do note that acquisitions happened years after she took over those. Not surprised if this ends up as a long-term play because of sell-offs. Now, that remains to be seen. Obviously, this is all opinions and just what I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but just I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's just people's opinions about what's going on, right? And just, something interesting is Jill House. So always read the comments, because this person says that she bought shares, she bought some PROG herself, and then apparently it looks like she was given the shares. So she was given around 83,000 shares, just under 83,000 shares, at a price of $3.11. So she's literally financially incentivized for this stock to go up, because if there was a merger, acquisition, whatever it would be, she is going to get freaking paid. Okay. And one thing I want to end with is the ATER CEO, who said, preliminary data on illegal naked short selling. This guy hired, if you're not familiar, this guy hired a third-party company to investigate, see if there was any kind of naked short selling, any kind of illegal trading of their stock. And he found that preliminarily, he posted this on Twitter, so he obviously must be pretty confident, finding that there are naked shorting. They are manipulating the stock, or they may be, I suppose I should say. Which is very interesting, right? So, just keep that in mind. We've learned through the AMC and GameStop DD that there are a million different things that could have happened here. Before anyone makes any, obviously make your own financial decisions. Just be very careful. Manage your risk. Me personally, I'm going to continue to hold. I'm going to continue to play this out. I think it's a great play either way, based on the things I've seen about their biotech and everything going on with the company. And I'm going to continue to hold my position and play this very slowly and see what's going on, right? Because something isn't adding up here. And I think hopefully this data is accurate enough that I can get a good pulse on what's going on and make my own decision, right? So I just want to bring that out there. I hope I'm not shilling anybody about the stock, and I hope I'm not, making anybody want to make any crazy decisions. But I just wanted to bring this up. I see a lot of people asking questions about this, and I think it's important to talk about, just have this conversation, see which ways it's going. If you have any opinions, I'd love to see them in the comment section. I'm going to be watching this one extremely closely. This is probably my second largest position after AMC. And I'm very curious about what's going to happen. All right. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. You guys have a great day. Peace.